don't wing it. Don't wing it. I did that mistake and not the best score.
My advice for preparing for the ACT or SAT would just be practice, practice, practice. And practice, practice.
Say practice.
Is to take a lot of practice.
In the practice test.
Practice test.
Practice tests. Yeah, practice test, practice test, practice test.
Because when you practice, you see what you're doing wrong, and you see your common errors, so you can go back and correct those.
Taking practice tests they offer on the ACT website definitely help. They have, I think, the full-length tests that you can take, or at least the full-length sections for each test.
Practice makes perfect, and just getting comfortable with the test and the timing and everything. Even if you might know all of the information on the test, you have to complete it in the time frame. So that was my biggest challenge, and that's what I had to keep working on, just going home and taking one section per day after school.
You can get a hold of like the little booklets that they have. That's very useful.
Just kind of like keep up with your work that you're doing, because that is kind of relevant, but then always kind of like, I guess it's the little workbooks are helpful.
Two things: learn how to manage your time, and also you got to realize that ACT tests and like worksheets and stuff that they give you to help you out, it's pretty on point, you know, because if you're ever wondering, like I always thought like the difficulty would be larger whenever I actually go to take the ACT, but you know, it's actually pretty direct with those. So if you have trouble with any of those subjects, practicing more through those tests is extremely helpful.
Stay calm. If you stay calm, you'll be more able to answer the questions with a clear mind and more likely to get them right.
To stay relaxed while you're taking it, because if you stress out too much, and then that distracts you from your focus, and that's to do as well as you can on the ACT.
Don't get nervous at all. If you get nervous, then you'll start to choke up and you'll make a bunch of errors you wouldn't have normally.
It's important to know how the tests are organized. Like how, when you get to that day, you know you're going to have this much time for this section and this much time for this section, and how to time yourself in questions and things like that. Because going from ACT to SAT, like taking the difference between them, because we had to take SAT this year, it's a lot different than taking the SAT. You know, there's like 10 sections and you feel like it's taking forever, even though it's about the same time as the ACT and things like that. So it's just, I think practicing is the biggest thing.
Just keep taking it.
Yeah, take it multiple times and take it over and over again.
Take it as many times as you can.
I've taken it like 12 times. I swear, definitely.
Your skill, yeah.
Go ahead.
Your skills definitely improve every time, especially if you're kind of weak in those areas. Like I think if you're not a good test taker, like using the ACT to kill two birds with one stone, you're improving your test taking skills. Also, you're improving your college readiness. It's helped me.
Because more than likely you will show improvement, and also help you to get more familiar and more comfortable, so when you have the next test, then you'll be more prepared and more confident in getting a better score.
You know, get a good night's rest too. You don't want to be tired, obviously.
Don't stay up till 1 the night before.
Yeah. Good night's rest, obvious.
Bring a TI-84.
Breakfast, obvious. Calculators are actually a big help.
Of course, get a good night's sleep the night before, and eat a good breakfast. Of course, you don't want to overindulge, but just to have enough to where you're not focusing on how hungry you are.
Pay attention in ACT prep, and definitely take it right out of there, because I didn't do that, and so I may have been able to get a higher score because of that. But those strategies that I learned really helped.
We actually took an ACT prep course, so if there's any way that like students can take an ACT prep course, that really helped me, because the first time I took a practice test, I scored a 17. I'll share that. I scored a 17. But then after taking the course, I got a 24. So that really improved my score.
Get help from teachers too, who are very, who are like, let's say, for example, for Dr. Simpson for science. Get advice from her. Just really seek out those sources. I think they'll be very, very helpful in taking the ACT and SAT.
And don't be discouraged.
Yeah.
Because you can always take it whenever again.
I think that's a big thing too. After you get one score, you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore, but keep trying, keep trying.
Like when you first register for it, you have a few weeks to prepare, but they seem so far off that you push it back until like the week before, and then you start studying, and then you start cramming and stuff, and you might not get the best grade you could possibly get on it. So I would say to start studying like with little increments before the week before the ACT or SAT.
Get an app. I downloaded so many apps to help me. One that I like is called Shmoop, I think it's called. And they have a lot of tips and the common mistakes that people make. They have drills you can do at the end, types of questions that you're going to see. And I should just suggest to read over those and practice the different tactics and vocabulary that they give you. Because once I start doing stuff that's on the ACT website, I see that really helps.
I'm not going to vouch for science, math, or reading, but the ACT English, I really hope that people realize that they are asking the same question 20 times. And if you can figure out, if you can pinpoint, oh, number 20 is, this is the question that they're asking me. They're asking me about subject-verb agreement. Let me look at the subject and the verb, and let me see if they fit. And that's it. If they're asking you for periods, if they're asking you for commas, oh, this is the comma question. And that's it. And you pick the one with the comma. People don't realize that it's really just a setup that's been tested through years. And it's very simple to pick up.
They get thrown off by the question, what the actual statement is saying. Like, you don't have to read into it that much. It's just about like English grammar. It's just about English punctuation. Like, can you detect how the sentence is supposed to be written?
I never read all the way through the reading assignments. You don't really need to. I usually skim it, and then if I can't find something in question, I'll go back and read it. That usually works.
If the sentence asks you how to fix it, that doesn't mean to read every single choice. That means look at the sentence, how would you write it correctly? And I can guarantee you that 90% of the time, the way you would write it is right there. And that's the answer. That's the correct answer.
Just don't worry about guessing. Just guess, because there's no penalty. So you could get it right.
I mean, that's all you can really do. Just take advantage of your ACT prep classes, and that book is going to help you out a lot.